Dallas radio legend. Controversial. Outspoken.
We're going to talk a number of topics with Bob Costas. Hello, Bob. How are you today?
Hey, Kevin. How you doing?
We're now joined by Missouri State Representative from Springfield, Sarah Lambie.
Coach Ken Carter. How you doing today, Coach?
Sounds like a cool dude. I just would like to shake your hand.
Gosh, a minute ago you were ready to kick my ass.
He's Kevin Slayton. Now, all rise for the King's Court on 590 The Man.
And a good Thursday afternoon, St. Louis. Kevin Slayton with you in the Pabst Blue Ribbon, Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. We're live at the Tilted Kilt in St. Charles here on 590 The Man, and we are streaming live at TalkSTL.com. So just plug TalkSTL.com, the free app, into your phone, punch it up, and away you go. And take us anywhere with you. Crystal clear signal. TalkSTL.com. Well, the Tilted Kilt here has 45 flat-screen HD TVs. They have 2 happy hours, 3 to 6, and, of course, 9 to midnight. They have all the football games, all the sporting events that you want to see right here. And they have the wonderful Tilted Kilt girls. It's a home run any way you slice it. They open at 10 o'clock for breakfast on NFL Sunday mornings. But you see all the games, and there's a couple of football games on tonight. College and the NFL, we end our 48-hour hiatus of football each week. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I'd like to chop them off the calendar. They don't have much to offer. One's a hump day, the other's a dull day. But here we are, and our lines are always open, 314-399-8923, 399-8923. Several things happening almost as we came on the air. Ron Washington, the former manager of the Texas Rangers, who suddenly resigned on September 5th, citing personal reasons, held a news conference down in the Dallas, Arlington area today and explained the reason for his resignation. With his wife at his side, he said that he wasn't true to his wife. I broke her trust, and I'm here today to own that mistake and apologize to her. I'm at a very low time in my life. I'm sorry for breaking the trust I had with my wife and for disappointing players, coaches, Major League Baseball, and the Texas Rangers. He said that he made a mistake. I'm embarrassed more than I've ever been in my life. I don't run when I make a mistake. When you put yourself in situations, you own it. A big carpe diem to Ron Washington. You don't run. You don't run away. You face the music that you brought on, and you own the situation. And that's how you get forgiveness from people. That's how you get respect from people. And that's what Ron Washington deserves today. Those that need to forgive him, I'm sure do. And we all respect him. How could you not? And good for his wife. It's a nice story. It could have been ugly. You can only imagine how difficult it is, but you don't run, as he said. For all of you out there who are runners, stop running. So we hope Ron Washington finds another place in the game. He said he wants to stay in baseball. He's a baseball lifer. But he needed to step away and repair his marriage. Good for him. Cardinals win last night. Adam Wainwright with a shutout, his third of the year, a gem. That was a huge win for the Cardinals, especially the way they weren't hitting. Mike Fiers dominated them. And but for an error, the Cardinals may have never scored. They may still be playing that scoreless game right now. The Cardinals win another game with just 3 hits. Fiers took a no-hitter into the 6th inning, and Adam Wainwright broke up his no-hitter. So if anybody worried about Mike Fiers' mental outlook after hitting Giancarlo Stanton in the face last week with a pitch, he's a pretty strong kid mentally. Great performance by both pitchers. Wainwright bested him 2-0, and that's a huge win for the Cardinals because the Pirates won again. 10 of 12 now for the Pirates. And they're just 2 back on the loss side. They would have been just 1 back on the loss side had Wainwright not to come through that performance. That's what your ace has to do when it's all on the line. Now the Pirates play the Red Sox again tonight while the Cardinals play the Brewers one more time. Old Cardinal Kyle Loesch gets the nod against Shelby Miller. It's important that Shelby Miller continues to pitch as he's been pitching because this is another huge game tonight. I have a sneaky feeling that you just can't let the Pirates get to a game out on the loss side. I don't think it bodes well. I really don't. It's a scary proposition if you let them just get a game behind you. Now, interestingly enough, the Cardinals have determined that Michael Wacha is going to get a start. Now, all he's done is throw some bullpen sessions since it was determined that he wasn't ready. And he says in the morning paper that he wasn't ready when he came back. Well, if he wasn't ready, what was he doing coming back? We said this at the time right here on the show. That Wacha should not be rehabbing from an injury at the major league level in the middle of a pennant race. That's a mistake. And it turned out to be a huge mistake. Could have cost them dearly. You're trying to put some space between yourself and Pittsburgh and the rest of the National League Central, and you're pitching a guy who isn't ready. When he only went 3 innings the first time out, that was embarrassingly stupid on the part of the Cardinal so-called brain trust. You can't do that. And now, what indicators are there that he's ready this time? He hasn't done anything, really, to establish that he's ready to go, except pitch bullpen sessions. No simulated games, nothing of the sort. Which really doesn't make sense. But here's what I find almost stunning in its stupidity. Because it really is stupid. As I said, you don't rehab in a situation like this at the major league level. You just don't do it. And Matheny says that these games mean something now. The games the last 2 weeks didn't. You can't practice now. Has Matheny totally lost his mind? Does he not listen to himself? Does he not hear himself?
Do you actually listen to yourself when you speak, or do you find you drift in and out?
What happened? I blacked out.
I think he must have blacked out. How do you say those kinds of things? By the way, that quote by Matheny about how important these games are now and you can't just practice at the major league level, that was in this morning's edition online, and it's been deleted now. So I'm again at a loss to ever figure this out. Now, some more stupidity, and it's a daily stupidity drive in sports, isn't it? We'll get to Jonathan Dwyer of the Arizona Cardinals here in a few minutes, but Missouri Tigers athletic department is falling all over themselves again with glee for having added that noted football power UConn to the schedule. So in the past month, Missouri has added Purdue, a team that was 1-11 last year, got smoked at home by Central Michigan this year, and now a UConn team that seems to have trouble beating anybody, and Missouri brags about it. Remember how joyful they were to talk about Purdue and what a top team they are. Now this Brian Maggard fella, Missouri's executive associate athletic director, that's a lot in a title, isn't it? He's not just an athletic director, he's not just an associate athletic director, he's an executive associate athletic director. He oversees football scheduling and probably little else. But here's what he says. We're really pleased to be able to reach an agreement to schedule UConn. Well, I bet you are. I bet Hinkle and Alden are too. Cha-ching, cha-ching, bonus money. It's fun to bring new opponents into Columbia for our fans.
You're not that good.
Did he say that with all seriousness? It's fun to bring new opponents for the fans? UConn? How many Mizzou fans do you think, wow, how do I buy my tickets for the UConn game right now? This is a program that's had a high level of success in the past decade. They haven't had a winning season since 2010. They had 3 8-5 years from 08 to 10. That's their best.
You're not that good.
This is a program that had a high level of success in the past decade. One of the most challenging aspects of conference realignment has involved football scheduling.
You could trouble me for a warm glass of shut the hell up.
We're getting really close to having 2015 taken care of and being able to move on to our future schedules. So that's very exciting. Exciting? It's UConn. It's not a basketball game. That would be exciting. Wow. Missouri gets dumber and dumber and dumber. And by the way, and this is a message to all these sports folks, quit insulting the general public's intelligence. You can tell us all you want that UConn's some sort of power and that Missouri fans are going to be excited to see them. But people are not that stupid. Everyone knows they're a dog right now, and they'll be a dog next year. And no one's going to flock down to Columbia to see that game, I guarantee you. Flush it on down. It's the same with these NFL idiots. Go back and look at the comments by the Minnesota Brain Trust, general manager and now owners, the Carolina general manager, every team that's been affected by one of these cases, Baltimore, now Arizona, every one of them, every time they speak, they all say this. Well, we're just trying to get it right. We're trying to do the right thing. Every one of them. So that tells me that in those exact words, they're all saying the same thing, that came down from above. Some PR hack at the NFL office sent a memo out to all the teams. Here's our working points. This is our talking point. You simply say, we're trying to do the right thing. Because they're all saying it exactly like that. So somebody's making a lot of money at the NFL to tell all of the teams to just say, we're trying to do the right thing. Now, in Minnesota's case, it's kind of hilarious because when they first deactivated Adrian Peterson, they said, we're trying to do the right thing. Then they activated him and said, we're trying to do the right thing. Then the next day, they put him on the exempt list and said, we're trying to do the right thing. How many cracks at doing the right thing do you get? And by the way, which is it? Which is the right thing? Deactivating him or activating him? They don't seem to know in Minnesota.
I mean,
They don't seem to know in Washington either. But I don't think it's that cold in Minnesota yet where it's frozen their brains. But it sounds like it. It definitely sounds like it. It's pretty amazing. That's the NFL for you. And where is Roger Goodell? He's another guy, just like the Rams draft picks. He's on the witness protection list. He's nowhere to be found, so I can only conclude that the face of the NFL is on the witness protection list. He must be.
What the hell are you doing?
He's on the witness protection list. So just when we thought it couldn't get any more insane, Jonathan Dwyer of the Cardinals gets booted and suspended immediately by the Arizona team for an arrest that took place back in July, or excuse me, an incident that took place back in July, and he was just arrested for it. Now, the way the policeman was speaking at the news conference, he seemed certain of the facts that this player headbutted his wife, hit his 17-month-old son in the stomach with a shoe, punched his wife in the face, threw her cell phone out the window or destroyed it somehow when she was trying to call 911. So he's been charged with an entire list of things. But why now? Why did you wait until now to arrest him, having all of this information 2 months, almost 3 months ago? What's going on with the police department in Arizona? They had all this information back then, as soon as they talked to the wife.
What the hell's going on out here?
I don't know, Coach Vince. The timing of this one leads me to question what's going on. What is with it? This could have been handled back in July. And just when all of us men maybe feel a morsel of comfort in this world, lo and behold, the Royal and Ancient Golf Club in Scotland, the home of golf, the old course has gone and admitted women. What? Yep. Chicks can play at the Royal and Ancient now. 260 years. Now the chick element is in. And, of course, I love the chairman of the Royal and Ancient in announcing it. He acts as though this is something they've been wanting to do for a long time. It only took them 260 years.
Let's go while we're young.
Yeah, well, they didn't go while a lot of people were young. It was a vote from the members, 85% in favor. That's a lot, 2,500 members worldwide. It's the first time in the RNA's history that members voted by proxy at the annual business meeting. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But the Royal and Ancient is no longer exclusively men. There will be chicks on the premises playing golf. What's happening to our world? And all the people out there going, well, what are you, some kind of a chauvinist? I know, I like equality. I love it. So I asked the women, why is there a string of gyms in this country called New Lady Fitness with only female membership allowed? I'm just trying to figure that out.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. I've always believed in what's good for the goose is good for the gander. In this case, not so. Here's Peter Dawson, the chairman of the RNA. This is a very important and positive day in the history of the Royal and Ancient Golf Club. The RNA has served the sport of golf well for 260 years, and I'm confident that the club will continue to do so in the future, with the support of all its members, both women and men. Yeah, right.
Be quiet.
Somebody hold a musket to your head? So the RNA is open for business for chick golfers. I'm sorry, did I say chick? How disrespectful. I meant broads. Yes, sir. Broads everywhere can play at the RNA now. That means it's even going to be harder for guys to get a tee time. They want to go over to Scotland and play the old course. Brother.
What the hell are you doing?
I don't know. The world as I knew it is falling apart. Falling apart, I tell you. And now that bitch Gloria Allred is demanding Roger Goodell's resignation. I want to now fight for Goodell to stay in office.
You are a filthy whore.
Anything she says, I'm against. If she says she's in favor of beautiful fall weather, I'm all of a sudden against it. It doesn't matter what that grandstander says, I'm against it. Talk about an attention whore. Who are you, by the way? You're just an attorney. You have no stake in the matter. You have no clients in the matter. Shut up.
That guy is a jerk.
I wonder if that broad has ever been to court in her life. In her life. All she does is hold news conferences. I'd like to be married to her. How long would it take you to hang yourself? That's the question. What's the over-under on that? 2 hours? Ugh. Hey, by the way, Rick Horton strikes again. Last night during the Cardinal game, Holiday scores on that error by Gomez in center field. Slipped and fell. Then he couldn't pick the ball up cleanly, so Holiday kept running. And Rick Horton says Matt Holiday might be the best base runner the Cardinals have. Look, I know that the job of Cardinal broadcasters is just to suck up to the Cardinals. I get that's the job description. But you can do it and at least appear intelligent as well. You don't have to be insulting, once again, insulting to the population that watches Cardinal baseball. That's insulting. No one is that stupid, except Rick Horton, I suppose, in his never-ending quest to suck up more than any other baseball announcer in the history of the game. Matt Holiday, quite possibly, it might be the best base runner the Cardinals have. Yeah, and I might be Santa Claus.
I'm not a smart man.
There's a better chance of me being Santa Claus than there is of Matt Holiday being the best base runner the Cardinals have. In fact, a much better chance. By the way, how can Missouri even consider themselves in the SEC when they never play Alabama or LSU? You're not really in the SEC. Or Auburn. Alabama, Auburn, and LSU. Missouri never plays them. We don't count the championship game in the conference last year because that's not on the schedule. Alabama, Auburn, and LSU haven't been on the schedule. Alabama once, LSU and Auburn never. And I think Alabama reappears in 2017. So how do you consider yourself a member of the SEC when you never play the best teams? Florida hasn't been any good since Urban Meyer left. And the only other teams in the SEC who've won national championships are Auburn, LSU, and Alabama. Missouri never plays any of them. It's their third year in the league, and they've played only Alabama in the regular season. Only Alabama of those three teams. And that was so one-sided and ugly, they may never want to play it again. Jimmy's up first. Welcome to the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Jimmy, how are you? Hello, Jimmy. Did we lose Jimmy? Jimmy Crack Corn, are you not there? I guess Jimmy Crack Corn's not there. That's the song, you know. Jimmy Crack Corn and I'm not there. Well, he's not. All right, Dr. Rick's going to be with us a little later on in the show. Andrew Gladney's going to stop by for a visit. We're going to talk about this NFL debacle. I'll tell you what Mike Lupica had to say about it on the Today Show this morning if you want a good laugh. But right now, I got to tell you all about my good friends at Gateway Buick GMC. Because, folks, they have a wonderful service. It's called the concierge service. Now, we know what that does in a hotel. But at an automobile dealership, here's what it does for you at Gateway Buick GMC. If you can't get away to get your car serviced, Gateway Buick GMC will bring a car to you for you to drive while they take your car in, and then they'll bring yours back to you and trade out again. All you have to do is call them, 314-895-1600, 314-895-1600, and ask for Victoria, and she'll take care of it for you. If you have a GM recall issue, same thing. They'll bring a car to you, and they'll exchange it, and you never have to leave or come in. Now, if you want to mention that you heard about it on our show, your service will include this: full oil and lube service. Top off all your fluids, tire rotation, multi-point inspection, all for under $40. And if you need new tires, go get a price somewhere, and then tell Gateway Buick GMC what your price is, and they'll meet or beat any price on new tires for you. How about that? They're where they've always been in Hazelwood at McDonald Boulevard and Highway 270. But you just can't beat it. I mean, that's just phenomenal stuff at Gateway Buick GMC. We are professional grade. And we are back at the Tilted Tilt on the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court right after this.
Need printed team shirts. Need it fast, need it easy, need it right. For custom printed t-shirts, hoodies, and gear for teams, churches, and business, visit Dogfish Apparel online. You can even design online. Go to dogfishusa.com. That's dogfishusa.com. Family owned and operated right here in St. Louis for over 20 years. For all your custom apparel needs, remember Dogfish USA. Online at dogfishusa.com.
The deals are heating up at Munganess Motorsports just in time for hunting season. Right now, take advantage of special 3.49% fixed APR financing on all new Honda ATVs. Check out our Honda Off-Road Country showroom as well as our wide selection of accessories and safety gear. Family owned since 1965, Munganess Motorsports, located at 5935 South Lindbergh Boulevard, right behind Munganess St. Louis Honda, about a mile north of I-55. Visit us online at MunganessMotorsports.com. Honda recommends utility ATVs for riders 16 years and older and recommends that all ATV riders take a training course. Special 3.49 fixed APR financing available for well-qualified buyers. Not all buyers may qualify. Bonus bucks given with select new and unregistered models. See dealer for complete program details.
Got a traffic ticket? Don't end up in court. Don't end up with points on your license. And don't end up paying higher insurance premiums. Call the lawyers at the Ticket Clinic at the MLM Law Group, the official law firm of 1380. They fight any moving violation, from speeding to a suspended license, even DUIs. In most cases, you don't even have to go to court. They have over a decade of experience and have resolved thousands of cases. From only $50 plus costs, if any, an experienced lawyer will go to court for you. And on most civil infractions, they will make sure you end up with no points, no school, and no court. Call the lawyers at the Ticket Clinic at the MLM Law Group at 314-888-5477 or visit them on the web at www.themlmlawgroup.com. Don't pay higher insurance premiums and don't risk your license. Call the Ticket Clinic at the MLM Law Group at 314-888-5477. That's 314-888-5477. Call today.
Football season is here. Miller Coors invites you to tailgate with us 3 hours prior to each and every home game. Great food, music, and most important, cold beer. We are in the parking lot directly north of the Dome. Just look for the giant Miller Lite tin. Admission to this party is free and open to the public. Join us Sunday, September 21st at 9 a.m. as the Rams take on the Cowboys. A portion of the proceeds goes to the USO of Missouri. Brought to you by the MLM Law Firm and Complete Supplements.
First thing in the morning as a sports fan, you want to know who won the late night game, who did what, and what's on tap for sports the next day. That's exactly what you're going to get with an STL morning sports show. It is going to give you no commentary, no opinion, just scores, highlights, facts, information along with weather, stock reports, and a few highlights and lowlights in the world of sports. My name's Mike Calvin, and I want you to listen to an STL morning sports show with me from 7 to 9 each morning here on AM 590, and get your sports information to start your day.
Bistro 1130 Mediterranean Cuisine, located at 1130 Town and Country Crossings Drive. Dine in or carry out authentic Moroccan cuisine. The chef's new seasonal Mediterranean-inspired menu for lunch and dinner takes a fresh approach at combining flavors from France, Spain, and Italy and Morocco. Unwind at the Bistro 1130 and take in the ambiance with fresh and savory Moroccan-style appetizers and exceptional cocktail happy hour specials. At the Bistro Mediterranean Cuisine, reserve your special table today at 636-394-1130. 636-394-1130. Bistro 1130 Mediterranean Cuisine.
Please remove those hats. You're in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court on 590 The Man.
And we welcome you back. Glad you're with us here in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court, live at the Tilted Kilt in St. Charles, Highway 94 and Country Club Plaza. All the games on here all the time on all the 45 flat screen HD TVs. The Kilt girls are here. Double happy hours every day going on now, and then again tonight from 9 till midnight. Come on up and take advantage of the specials during happy hour and all of the great games that will be on tonight. NFL football, college football, Auburn at Kansas State. Looking forward to that one. All right, Jimmy is up first. We'll try it again. Welcome, Jimmy, to the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. How are you today? Jimmy? All right, that's the last chance for Jimmy. 399-8923. 399-8923 if you want to weigh in on any of the stories we've talked about. Cardinals, as I said, play again tonight behind Shelby Miller. Rams in Dallas this weekend. Tony Romo had to sit out practice yesterday because of stiffness in his back. Now, remember, he had back surgery in the offseason. That's an interesting dilemma for the Cowboys if he's not right, because their defense has played very well to start the season through their first 2 games. That's the surprise, in my opinion, in the NFL this year. Not Buffalo being 2-0, but Dallas's defense playing better. And I mean a lot better. So as they get prepared to come here, Tony Romo's back is stiff. That's probably not a good thing for them, huh? I don't know. I mentioned I would tell you about Mike Lupica on the Today Show this morning. He was on there talking about the debacle that is the NFL and how Chet Cleveland and I yesterday said the NFL makes up their disciplinary rules as they go along. Lupica referred to them as writing them down on a napkin and then changing them whenever they feel like it. Either allegory is true. Now, here's the thing, though. Lupica said, I love these people who try to hide behind due process. I got news for Mike Lupica. You know, he writes for the New York Daily News. He's authored books. He seems to be a sharp fellow, but he has no idea what he's talking about because he apparently doesn't know what due process is. And I can guarantee this to Mike Lupica. If you were ever accused of anything, a crime of any sort, you wouldn't want people to fire you at the newspaper until you've had your day in court. That's called due process. We're all afforded that. Certainly should be afforded that. I don't know about Mike Lupica, but I believe in innocent until proven guilty. And for all of those people who think when you're acquitted, that doesn't mean you're innocent, yes, it does. A not guilty verdict means you're innocent. Here's why. You're innocent until proven guilty. Therefore, if you're not proven guilty, what are you? Innocent. Do juries and judges get wrong verdicts sometimes? You bet they do. But it makes you innocent if you're acquitted. Jonathan Dwyer is the latest. He's on the reserve non-football injury list. That's different than the exempt list. The NFL, do you get the idea that the NFL sits around with their attorneys and just comes up with names to call these lists? They're in the list business. They have an exempt commissioners list. They have a reserve non-football injury list. They have an injured reserve list. They have a waiver list. I don't get it. They're in the lists. They need a top 10 list of boobs that run the NFL. I was talking to someone this morning who said he couldn't ever do Goodell's job, $44 million a year not, because working for billionaires has to be the worst job in the world. And I said, hold on a second. Yes, billionaires would be a pain in the ass, calling you all the time with their monstrous egos. However, there are a lot of bosses who bother their employees on a daily basis that are making $35,000, $45,000, $50,000 a year. You can bother me all you want if you're paying me $44 million a year. If it's too bad, I'll work a year and quit. But I would never say or ever think that that job is anything but wunderbar. That's the gig. Now, it's amazing that Roger Goodell is nowhere to be found, as I said on the witness protection list. But he is. 399-8923 if you want to weigh in. Jalen Parmalee was re-signed to fill Jonathan Dwyer's roster spot at Arizona. I don't really know how good Dwyer was, but he's getting, by the way, $42,000 a week while he is on the reserve non-football injury list. he's almost poor by domestic abuse accused standards. $772,000 a week for numbnuts over in Carolina, Greg Hardy, and $11.25 million for the season for Adrian Peterson. Poor Jonathan Dwyer is only going to make $43,000 a week. When the Cardinals put him on this reserve non-football injury list, they could have decided not to pay him, but they decided to pay him. As I said, I still believe until there's due process, he should be allowed to play. We have seen in Greg Hardy's case a conviction. He should not be allowed to play. He should be suspended. There shouldn't be any debate over that. Mark is up first. Welcome to the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Mark, how are you today? Hello, Mark. I wonder if it's on our end, Owen. We'll see. We'll figure it out what's going on. But in Carolina, as I said, Greg Hardy has been convicted. Let's try Mark. Let's try Mark now. Hello, Mark. Okay, Mark's gone, but the problem has been fixed, Owen tells me. So if you'd like to call back, 314-399-8923. 399-8923. Though that is the number you can all weigh in. The Dwyer case is interesting, though, because you've got a child involved again, an 18-month-old, his own child, I might add. If the allegations are true, he headbutted his wife, hit his 18-month-old in the stomach with a shoe, threw her phone away when she tried to call 911. When the cops called eventually the next day, or she called the cops, and asked if he was there, she lied and said he wasn't there. He was hiding in the bathroom in case they came by. And then he punched her in the face the next day. If those allegations are true. But let's be honest about it. We all have heard stories, and I have seen instances in the legal profession where women will lie. Some women will make stuff up in order to get a guy. I'm not saying that's the case in any of these instances. I'm just saying it happens. And that's why due process is so important. Because if you fail to give due process, then you are inviting every low-life woman out there to make an accusation against a celebrity, a professional athlete, in order to get them in trouble and perhaps get money by extortion. So you must adhere to due process, or you invite that quagmire, and that is much worse than allowing someone to play football while his case is pending. Jimmy is back for another shot. Let's see if we got it fixed. Jimmy, how are you today? Hello, Jimmy. We're struggling with this today. I'm not sure what it is. Owen, do you think? Jimmy, are you there? He's not there, or he can't hear us. One of the two. We'll try to get it fixed during the next break. But I hope everybody understands, and I hope Mike Lupica gets it, just how important and why due process is necessary. And it's for the very reason I've just articulated. You can't have open season on people. If some woman who feels jilted for some reason, or even if she doesn't, she's just evil and don't think they don't exist, decides she'll get a guy in trouble at his office. Pretty simple to do if you're not going to hold true to due process. It's very simple to do. But if you hold due process as paramount and sacrosanct, then no one can be harmed by lies. There has to be a prosecution and a conviction. Or a plea deal. If, for instance, Adrian Peterson pleads guilty to avoid any potential jail time and simply gets probation, that plea of guilty should garner suspension. Ray McDonald is being allowed to play in San Francisco. I don't hear quite the uproar about that. And that's the right decision. Keep in mind, in McDonald's case, and all of these cases are different, but in McDonald's case, he hasn't even been charged. So how could you rightfully say that he shouldn't be playing? He hasn't even been charged. Now, that's been a couple of weeks, which is interesting to me. It makes me wonder if the police are doubting the credibility of the story. We have no way of knowing that until charges are either issued or he's cleared. But simply an arrest means nothing, because I'll tell you why. It is common knowledge that when police are called on a domestic disturbance and they come to the home, somebody is going to jail. Doesn't mean they're guilty, and it doesn't mean they're going to get charged, but for that night, someone is going to jail, and it is almost always, without fail, the man. So those are the realities of the situation that these people are dealing with. And I'm assuming that trying to get it right, trying to do the right thing, which is the NFL's new mantra, is confusing for them. I'm not sure why. If you simply have as your philosophy due process is owed to every citizen in this country when they're charged with a crime, then you have no problems backtracking. You have no problems looking like an idiot like they do in Minnesota or Carolina. Those are the two that look like the complete idiots. Arizona acted quickly when Dwyer was charged. San Francisco has been definitive in letting due process take its course. Good for them. And people like Mike Lupica, if you don't understand how important due process is, you shouldn't be opening your mouth about this. It's the cornerstone of our society. All right, folks, our good friends at Window World understand that. They also understand how important good windows are. And if you just need new windows in your house, they're aging, they're allowing cool air out and warm air out in the winter and cool air in the winter, you want to call them now. 314-993-1800, a free in-home estimate. By the way, if you just want to improve the look of your house, 314-993-1800. The original $189 window guys. Any size white vinyl double hung windows, just $189 from Window World. The company that was just voted #1 by J.D. Power and Associates for the second year in a row. And in that industry, that doesn't happen, but it did for Window World. They also carry an A+ from the Better Business Bureau and Angie's List on their resume, and they've improved the look and the thermal efficiency of over 40,000 homes in our area. At Window World, they're so confident in their product and their windows that they give you a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. They can do that because they use double-strength glass. No one else that I know of does that. That's why I couldn't damage those windows when I stood on them in the showroom floor. 12 months free financing, same as cash with approved credit. That's a Window World guarantee. 314-993-1800. Get that free in-home estimate today. All right, we're back with more of the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court right after this.
Hot Shots in Arnold and now Webster Groves is the place for all the games all the time. Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves is your place for all your upcoming NFL action and, of course, our Redbirds. NASCAR is in full swing, and now is the time to form your fantasy football leagues, and Hot Shots is the perfect meeting place. Hot Shots has the best food and drink specials to make the games as fun as being there. Looking for a perfect place for lunch? Well, Hot Shots will get you in and back to work fast after a a fantastic lunch. Get caught up on your sports while you have a great view of the beautiful servers as well as the games. It's always a party every day at Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves. Hot Shots gives you every reason to hang out and enjoy yourself with golden tea, bags, beer pong, foosball, darts, and all kinds of other games. Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves has the game on 30 large HD TVs and the massive 105-inch screen, so you always have the best view. Hot Shots in Webster Groves at Watson and Laclede Station Road. Hot Shots in Arnold is at 131 Arnold Crossroads Center, close to 55 and Jeffco Roads. Hot Shots in Arnold or Webster Groves, all the games, all the time.
Hello, gorgeous. Bare Minerals just won its 9th Glammy Award for Best Prestige Foundation. And to celebrate, we're offering risk-free trials of Bare Minerals makeup to all women nationwide. That's right, every woman who calls right now can get a full-size risk-free trial of Bare Minerals makeup, plus a free 5-piece makeup set. For yours, call 1-800-605-9625. This is an exclusive radio-only offer you don't want to miss. Bare Minerals Foundation gives you flawlessly beautiful coverage with a no-makeup feel, and it's clinically proven to promote clearer, healthier-looking skin. No wonder it's won 9 Glammys in a row, and now you can try Bare Minerals makeup for yourself. Call now to find out how you can participate in our nationwide risk-free trial and join the millions who've already tried Bare Minerals makeup and fallen in love with their skin again. Plus, we'll send you a free 5-piece makeup set, our gift to you. Hurry, don't miss this exclusive radio-only offer. 1-800-605-9625. 1-800-605-9625.
And now, St. Louis Glass and Door reminds everyone to show support to our troops, veterans, and first responders this September 11th. Thank you for your service. This salute comes from our area's premier glass and door specialists. For all your residential glass replacement, safety glass, patio doors, insulated glass, and more, give them a call at 314-608-8101. 314-608-8101. That's St. Louis Glass
Hello,
and Door.
This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Tell me if this describes you. You're a man who's worked hard all your life. You have a nice house, a savings, a good retirement. But now there's just one problem. Your wife says she wants out. She says she wants a divorce. Suddenly, everything you've worked so hard for, it's all on the table. Your house, your pension, and most important, your kids. She says she feels terrible about the way things have turned out. She says she wants to be fair. Trust her, she says. May I suggest to you an alternative? Consider trusting instead the law firm Cordell & Cordell. You're facing one of the most pivotal, critical times in your life. It's at times like these that you need a partner you can count on.
Call the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's attorneys, a partner men can count on. 314-725-0000, 725 all zeros. Offices in St. Louis, St. Charles, Jefferson County, Edwardsville, Belleville, and Union by appointment only.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
In the sports world, a good offense starts with a good defense. The professionals at Lakeside Roofing believe in this same motto for your roof. Our full-time service department provides the defense to ensure that you get the most out of your roof system. A regular schedule of roof assessment and maintenance will ensure that your roof will hold up to harsh environment, particularly spring wind and hail, as well as the overall aging process. Included in the inspection is a personalized preventive maintenance program specific to your roof system. This defensive strategy can extend the life of your commercial or residential roof for many years. Choose the winning team of professionals at Lakeside Roofing. We're a family-owned business that has built a solid reputation for excellent service from the initial call to the completed job. Call us today at 618-344-2800 or 314-241-5253. Or visit us on the web at lakesideroofing.com. That's lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience. Choose Lakeside.
Now, all rise. You're in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court on 590 The Man.
And we welcome you back into the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court right here on 590 The Man and streaming live at TalkSTL.com. You can stream live at TalkSTL.com. Crystal clear signal. No matter how far away you go, you have it. Just punch up the TalkSTL app on your phone, a free app, and away we go. Our numbers are open, so we figured the problem out in the break. 314-399-8923. So if Jimmy and Mark and the rest want to try it again, we're confident that it will fly for you. 314-399-8923. As we talk all about the NFL, Auburn has suspended one of their starting safeties, a 3-year starter. He was disrespectful to a coach, according to the head coach. And so a guy who's a senior mouthing off to a coach. I keep scratching my head at how stupid these people are. But it goes to that sense of entitlement and that sense of self-importance. And that's the problem. And until that's changed, this is never going to change. This kind of behavior. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Hey, we were watching the National League pennant race, of course, with the Cardinals, the Central Division and the Wild Card race. And with just 12 games left, it's interesting to take a look at the National League Most Valuable Player race, because that's a better race than the pennant races, and we're going to get into that as we go along. Jeff is up first. Welcome, Jeff, to the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. How are you?
I'm doing good, King. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's nice to hear a voice at the other end.
Hey, I want to just kind of weigh in, Kevin, with all the things going on in the NFL, and I'm actually a diehard 49ers fan, and from a fan standpoint, obviously, I'm happy that Ray McDonald is playing because he's one of their better defensive players, but at the same time, as you said, that is the right and only decision, and I'm going to give the Niners a ton of credit for not giving in to public pressure and trying to walk the same line that all these other teams are walking. So I want to thank you for pointing that out like you have, because frankly, you're probably the only one right now that has that opinion.
Well, I probably am, because you've got nitwits in the media in this country, but here's the other part of it. In the 49ers case, and as I said, every one of these cases is different. But in the 49ers case, they have the best set of circumstances to allow him to play. There's no video of anything. There apparently are no witnesses claiming this guy was on a rampage. And obviously, he hasn't, the most obvious thing that works in their favor, he hasn't even been charged. And yet you still hear these nitwits, half-brains, screaming for him not to be allowed to play. And as I said, if you go down that road, you open the door for all of the bogus charges in the world, all of the bogus accusations that we know people make on an everyday basis.
So you're exactly right, Kevin, and that's why I definitely give them props for doing it the way they're doing it. Now, that being said, and I'm sure you've talked about this before, but I know Jim Harbaugh has been very adamant, as well as Jed York, the CEO, that they will not tolerate players that do that, and if they are charged and I guess convicted of doing that they will no longer be a 49er. So I'll be curious to see if they stick to that, their guns on that as well.
My guess is they will. And the reason is, to me, is pretty simple for them. They're, as you say, they're very adamant in their philosophy about it. Jim Harbaugh had already lectured his team in the past few years about this, that he has a zero tolerance if you lay a hand on a woman. So if Ray McDonald is, in fact, convicted, I guarantee you they won't have any second thoughts. He won't be playing. But in Carolina, you've got a conviction, and you've got a guy who was playing. And you've got an NFL that refused to suspend him. He still isn't suspended. He's convicted. I mean, what does it take for Roger Goodell? And by the way, let me break down real quickly for you Goodell's problem with this Ray Rice deal. He now claims, of course, that Ray Rice wasn't truthful with him. Well, if Ray Rice sugarcoated what took place in that elevator for Goodell, then why did Goodell suspend him at all? If Ray Rice denied hitting her, why was he suspended, period? And if he did tell the truth, why was he only suspended 2 games? See, Goodell can't have it both ways. He's wrong either way that comes down. He's in bad shape. And to me, I don't think there's any doubt that Goodell is the one who's lying here.
Isn't it funny, too, Kevin, that with the exception of that morning, whatever talk show he was on, CBS, NBC, that one morning when he did the interview, that other than that, he has been pretty much completely silent on everything.
Well, he found out.
That's not the mark of a leader, Kevin, of a good commissioner, to stay in the shadows the way he is.
No, it's not. That's, of course, what Bud Selig always does. And what he found out, though, when he went on CBS that morning and opened his mouth, that he stepped right into a pile of crap by not being truthful and honest. He didn't know that people were going to find out. So now he figures, well, I better not say anything. But that's the exact wrong thing to do. when you've got a fiasco to deal with, a crisis, the way you handle it is to get in front of it, not run behind it. And the NFL PR hacks apparently are getting paid six-figure salaries for being idiots and not knowing anything about how to handle a crisis. Whomever is in charge of their crisis management should have been fired a long time ago. But this is crisis management 101. You get in front of it, not behind it. If Goodell wants to write a letter to the owners saying he got it wrong, then he should have held a news conference and said, look, I got this entire thing wrong. Ray Rice should have been suspended for a lot more games than I suspended him, and that's my mistake. But what you don't do is renege on your deal when some video becomes public that you already knew to.
Oh, you're exactly right. The last thing, Kevin, I'll let you go, and maybe this is too obvious to even mention, but is this, I guess, the change in the society in the sense that this kind of thing has probably been going on a lot worse than we would think or even know for quite some time, but because of technology and everything that's available out there, and now that just about everything these guys do is either being recorded or videotaped or photographed or whatever, that's the only reason now that they're even addressing it. Is that fair to say?
I think it's more than fair to say. I think it's 100% accurate. Nobody can convince me that this is the first wave of domestic abuse in the NFL. You'd have to be the most naive person on earth to think this hasn't been taking place for years.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Well, Kevin, as always, thanks for your time, pal. Have a good one.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate the call. Hey, our good friends at Stumpy's House of Barbecue. If you're in the mood for barbecue, and you might be because it's a warm one out there today. It's a lot warmer than it has been, so that gets us sort of thinking barbecue. And don't go home or stop by the grocery store and buy some, put it on the grill. Go right to Stumpy's House of Barbecue. You can dine in, by the way, bring the whole family, or you can get a carry-out for everybody at home, or they'll deliver. They're in St. Peter's, 620 Jungerman Road, 636-441-7222. Everything is hickory smoked and slow cooked. You can buy their barbecue by the pound, ribs by the half slab or full slab, chicken by the half chicken or whole chicken. Those appetizers, if you just want to eat their appetizers, you're in hog heaven. Smoked chicken wings, Stumpy's skins, Stumpy's nachos, fried pickles, fried green beans, a sampler platter. It makes you think back to the summer, lazy days of summer. Great salads, great barbecue sandwiches. Their Stumpy's special sandwich is a tender pulled pork or chicken smothered in their famous Stumpy's barbecue sauce and topped with their special coleslaw. Ooh. Three distinctively different sauces they have. Ice cold beer while you wait for your order if you get in there for a carry-out. Barbecue plates for lunch and dinner. Tremendous sides. The sides are phenomenal. They make every barbecue, folks. The sides always make the barbecue. But the barbecue in this case is phenomenal. Stumpy's House of Barbecue in St. Peter's, 620 Jungerman Road, 636-441-7222. Had somebody come into the Marshall Wireless Sprint store yesterday and tell me, hey, I heard about Stumpy's from you, went over and tried it. You were right on target. And he really loved the sides, which made the meal. Of course, the barbecue, he said, was out of this world. All right, we'll take a break. This is the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. When we come back, Dr. Rick joins us right here at the Tilted Kilt in St. Charles, Highway 94 and Country Club Plaza.
Hello again, this is Mike Calvin, General Manager at 590 Sports Radio, with another recommendation for you about Charter Business. If you are a business owner, you understand that time is money. So with internet speeds that start at 60 megabytes per second for only 50, business internet can literally save your business time and money every day. You see, a 30 megabyte file only takes 4 seconds to download using Charter Business Internet. That's pretty much instantaneous. However, that same file on a slow DSL from the phone company can take over 30 seconds to download. Charter Business Internet puts time back into your day so you can get more accomplished. So call 877-BIZ-BUNDLE today or visit businessbundle.com to order Charter Business Internet for just $55 per month when bundled. That's 877-249-2863.
Bistro 1130 Mediterranean Cuisine, located at 1130 Town and Country Crossings Drive. Dine in or carry out authentic Moroccan cuisine. The chef's new seasonal Mediterranean-inspired menu for lunch and dinner takes a fresh approach at combining flavors from France, Spain, and Italy and Morocco. Unwind at the Bistro 1130 and take in the ambiance with fresh and savory Moroccan-style appetizers and exceptional cocktail happy hour specials. At the Bistro Mediterranean Cuisine, reserve your special table today at 636-394-1130. 636-394-1130. Bistro 1130 Mediterranean Cuisine.
590 KFNS, Wood River, St. Louis.
Sports Talk Radio.
In the sports world, a good offense starts with a good defense. The professionals at Lakeside Roofing believe in this same motto for your roof. Our full-time service department provides the defense to ensure that you get the most out of your roof system. A regular schedule of roof assessment and maintenance will ensure that your roof will hold up to harsh environment, particularly spring wind and hail, as well as the overall aging process. Included in the inspection is a personalized preventive maintenance program specific to your roof system. This defensive strategy can extend the life of your commercial or residential roof for many years. Choose the winning team of professionals at Lakeside Roofing. We're a family-owned business that has built a solid reputation for excellent service from the initial call to the completed job. Call us today at 618-344-2800 or 314-241-5253 or visit us on the web at lakesideroofing.com. That's lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience. Choose Lakeside.
Hot Shots in Arnold and now Webster Groves is the place for all the games all the time. Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves is your place for all your upcoming NFL action and, of course, our Redbirds. NASCAR is in full swing, and now is the time to form your fantasy football leagues, and Hot Shots is the perfect meeting place. Hot Shots has the best food and drink specials to make the games as fun as being there. Looking for a perfect place for lunch? Well, Hot Shots will get you in and back to work fast after a fantastic lunch. Get caught up on your sports while you have a great view of the beautiful servers as well as the games. It's always a party every day at Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves. Hot Shots gives you every reason to hang out and enjoy yourself with golden tea, bags, beer pong, foosball, darts, and all kinds of other games. Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves has the game on 30 large HD TVs and the massive 105-inch screen, so you always have the best view. Hot Shots in Webster Groves at Watson and Laclede Station Road. Hot Shots in Arnold is at 131 Arnold Crossroads Center, close to 55 and Jeffco Roads. Hot Shots in Arnold or Webster Groves, all the games, all the time. Football season is here. Miller Coors invites you to tailgate with us 3 hours prior to each and every home game. Great food, music, and most important, cold beer. We are in the parking lot directly north of the Dome. Just look for the giant Miller Lite tin. Admission to this party is free and open to the public. Join us Sunday, September 21st at 9 a.m. as the Rams take on the Cowboys. A portion of the proceeds goes to the USO of Missouri. Brought to you by the MLM Law Firm and Complete Supplements.
Feeling a little under the weather?
Oh, my neck! My back! My neck and my back! Oh!
It's time for Ask the Doctor.
Doctor.
With former Blues team physician, certified orthopedic surgeon, and founder and medical director of the U.S. Center of Sports Medicine,
Dr. Richard Lehman, MD.
Ask the Doctor on the Pabst Blue Ribbon Kings Court on 590 The Man.
And Dr. Rick joins us, but I want to remind everybody that the Taco Bell has that quesarito on the menu. That's the newest item. And if you haven't tried that quesarito, you're missing out big time. But here's what else they have. You're driving around during the day and you're saying, man, I'm hungry. I just need something quick. Taco Bell has the Dollar Crave menu. 11 different items for just $1. What? That's what I said. 11 different items are just $1 at Taco Bell. And, of course, as they continue to innovate with their menu, better than anyone in the industry, they still have all of your favorites. The soft shell taco, the hard shell taco, the bean burrito, the taco salad, the Doritos Locos tacos. That's the classic Taco Bell on the inside. The shell made of real nacho cheese, and the Cool Ranch Doritos tacos, the fiery Doritos Locos tacos. You get the message. It's all the best food that you want. And their breakfast club, open for business 7 in the morning. I tell you every time about that wonderful steak and egg burrito that melts in your mouth, the AM Crunch Wrap, the waffle taco, talk about creative, the AM Grilled Taco, the sausage flatbread melt, the breakfast burrito. And, folks, if you get a couple of boxes of those Cinnabon Delights and you take them to the office, you're going to be everybody's favorite at the office. You won't even need to brown nose. Just take the Cinnabon Delights with you, and your deal is done. And I love to support locally owned businesses, so I frequent the locally owned Taco Bells. In both Missouri and Illinois, they're in Washington, Missouri, Union, St. Clair, Chesterfield Alley, another one in Chesterfield on Olive. In Illinois, Columbia, Jerseyville, Waterloo, Troy, Illinois, Salem, and the home of the Salukis in Carbondale. Hey, SEAL Team 6 members that killed bin Laden when they got back to the U.S., got in their truck at the airport, went over to Taco Bell, got 2 bean burritos and 2 tacos. That's what they said on 60 Minutes. If it's good enough for SEAL Team 6, it's good enough for us. Taco Bell. And before we get to Dr. Rick, a quick shout-out to a good friend of the show, Janine Maroney. Tomorrow is her birthday, and I know she's on the way to the Cardinal game. So, Janine, happy birthday. I'm thinking she's about 29. I probably shouldn't have given her age. Happy birthday, Janine Maroney, and her wonderful husband, John. All right, Dr. Rick, how you doing?
I'm good, Kev. How are you?
I'm doing well. And apparently Michael Waka, miraculously, is ready to pitch again after nothing really has changed since he couldn't pitch just a week or two ago.
Well, I mean, it'll be interesting. You know, I think we're watching this progression, and it's just as interesting to see, you know, if he can progress and can he really come back. And, you know, all of this kind of gives us an idea of his development. So it's a story that, you know, we follow, and it doesn't completely make sense to me or probably a lot of people. So we're just going to have to see, you know, how his progress is, number one, and can he sustain it? And you know, really nothing's changed, so it'll be interesting to find out.
You know, he says this morning that he wasn't ready when he came back a couple of weeks ago, which astounds me that he knew it and everyone else knew it after the first time he pitched, only 3 innings. For an endurance proposition, at least, wouldn't it have been wiser if you were advising the Cardinals medically that he pitched simulated games before coming back?
Well, I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, and I agree. So, you know, it really has to do with how he feels, what his mechanics are, how he feels his mechanics are, and then, you know, what he looks like objectively. And I think both of these components need to be addressed. And at this point, you know, I don't know why there's a big difference, but, you know, the management must feel that he is ready, or the medical staff must feel that he is ready, and hopefully he feels that he is ready to give it a go, and that's going to determine how this whole thing progresses. You know, is he ready to pitch in the postseason? Can he pitch in the postseason? And what do you have to do in the offseason? So I think there's a number of factors right now, which, you know, there's just really question marks more than they're answered.
Yeah, and it seems to me it's not a wise proposition to have a guy rehabbing from an injury in a pennant race when you only have a 2-game lead on the loss side. But we shall see. And I love how Matheny said in the paper today, hey, these aren't practice games. These are important. Well, they were important 10 days ago, too, and he pitched. So who knows? We'll see. The NFL is at it again, of course, with all of the injuries. We're only 2 weeks in, and several star players have some serious injuries. Obviously, the biggest one that everyone is talking about is Robert Griffin III. That ankle injury, Rick, was gruesome. I assume you've seen the video of it. I couldn't watch it a second time. It reminded me of Joe Theismann.
You know what? If that guy, if anyone could be less lucky, you know, it's RG3. And there was a big article on ESPN talking about could he be the biggest quarterback bust ever? And I guess the answer to the question is yeah, it probably could be. So, you know, dislocated his ankle. The good news is it was relocated, and hopefully he comes back. They say he's going to be back in 6 weeks. I think that's ridiculous. But the bottom line is, if there's a silver lining, it's going to give him a season to help further rehabilitate his knee. I mean, that's the only positive in this whole deal. And clearly it was a disgusting, horrible injury. And like you said, watching it, you know, it was very clear what was going on. And, you know, I think he misses most of the season. If he comes back for just a little bit. And then the question is, is he competitive as a quarterback, with the way things are going. So I don't know that he's the best quarterback in Washington, even when he was quote unquote healthy. So even if he comes back at the end of the season, is he really reasonably gonna play? And the answer probably is no.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, of course, just seems seemingly all of a sudden a fan favorite, and he's been very good in relief of Robert Griffin III in the past couple of years. As you looked at that ankle, how does that happen? Because he wasn't hit, he's just running, and he plants his foot, and the ankle, as he then went up in the air, was at a horribly disfigured angle. It looked to me like the whole thing just snapped and was hanging there, and yet it could have been worse, right?
Well, I mean, sure, it could have been worse. You could have added a fracture to it, or some of the bones in the ankle that don't heal well, namely something called the talus, could have fractured, and then it would have been worse. Now, the bottom line at this point is it was a dislocation, which when you see it, it is unbelievable. It's disgusting. But, I think your point is well taken, and that is, why did it happen? And you have to assume that there's some inherent weakness, balance issues, mechanical issues based on his knee, which overloaded his ankle, hence his ankle dislocated. And although, yes, it could be worse, the one thing that no one talks about or has talked about is something called avascular necrosis, and there is a high incidence or an incidence of avascular necrosis, meaning the bone dies in the ankle when it's dislocated. So I don't think you can just guarantee that 6 weeks come and go and you're ready to rock. You have to see if you have some problems with the bone, if you disrupt the blood supply, and then how well the ankle functions, and all these things remain to be seen.
Wow, that's an interesting point you just made about that. If that indeed is the result of his injury, people say, "Oh, well, he has very skinny legs," and he is. He's very, very wiry in his legs. Does that have anything to do with an injury like that?
That's. I mean, I don't really think so. I mean, and I've heard people mention that, and I don't really think so. I mean, I really do think it's a compensatory thing. He stepped wrong. He probably doesn't have the leg strength to support his ankle as someone who's completely rehabbed. So I think those are probably the issues. And, what the vascular blood supply is going to be, it will be very interesting. So, we don't know that.
Doc, he wasn't the only big-name player, as we talked with Dr. Rick Lehman in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC King Court on 590 The Man, streaming live on TalkSTL.com. A.J. Green, the great wide receiver for the Bengals, has a toe injury so severe that he had to leave the game. I remember back in the day, all those turf toe injuries were brutal and ended careers. Is that similar to what's going on here?
Well, it's interesting because he had a pretty significant injury, and you never know really how turf toe is going to respond, and I don't think anyone knows. He had what's called a roller plate injury, and there's a little bone called the sesamoid, and it's displaced. So this is a pretty significant injury. If you're a lineman, you can get away with a little bit better. Some of the more skill positions or speed positions, you get away with it not very well. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing progresses or doesn't progress. And I would tell you that Cincinnati's concerned because this is a guy they got to have. Some people are calling for them to win the whole thing, which I don't know about that. But the bottom line, on this is, he could miss 2 weeks or he could miss 6 weeks, and then he could come back and have some issues with his push-off. So this will be a very interesting thing to watch. But, yes, it's a pretty severe injury.
And, if they are going to win it all, this will be a devastating blow to them if he's out 6 weeks or longer.
Absolutely.
Charles Tillman, Rick, I don't know if you're watching the Sunday night game, 49ers and Bears. On a seemingly innocent play, he goes to the sideline and taps the receiver, just taps him out of bounds and turns holding his arm. A torn tricep. How does that happen on a play like that?
You know what, I saw that. I watched that probably 8 or 10 times, and I didn't understand it. I don't know if there was some damage prior. There's something wrong with the story there. So my guess is he's had problems or had a puncture or had a significant issue, and that was just sort of the, the final blow, because I agree with you. That looked like a lot of nothing to me. And it may have been that he's had some chronic issues, or that the triceps had some damage, and that was kind of the final, the ninth inning for him, because that looked like a lot of nothing.
Yeah, you see these violent collisions that you don't think a guy will ever get up. They hop up, get right back to the huddle, then you see that. It looked like touch football, and all of a sudden he's out for the season and perhaps his career, because he's not a young fellow anymore.
Right. I mean, and it's crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. And those guys don't always come back. I mean, that's a hard injury to come back from, depending on the damage, etc. So this is an issue. And some of that, we don't want to really get into all this, but some of that might be supplement-based too, where the tendon just doesn't really have reasonable strength. So, there may be some other factors, and I think you have to kind of look at all those factors when you're treating these guys, because if you miss that, then it's a whole different ordeal than if you kind of go in there and know exactly what all the components are.
And then Jamal Charles, the great running back in Kansas City, has what appears to be the dreaded high ankle sprain. And for a running back, that even though it won't end his season, probably for all intents and purposes, it could. That's one of those nebulous things that you look at and you say to yourself, it's this long. I mean, it's one of these things that they take forever to truly heal. So they're truly healed. It becomes somewhat of a pain situation once it starts to heal. Sometimes braces help and control the rotation. But generally, this is a very slow healing structure, again, with poor blood supply. And these structures do just even at a 6, 8 week, 10, 12 week period of time, they're still not at 100%. And in the NFL, you got to be at 100%. There's no playing at 60, 70%. So this is a big deal. And for a running back, it can take you from being a starter to a second string, or a second string or a starter to not playing at all. So again, this is something that can be devastating. And these guys have fade into the sunset after these injuries. They try to come back. They can't really push off. They can't really change direction. And it's just a methodically slow process. Yeah, those high ankle sprains are devastating in basketball and in football, and they certainly appear with regularity. Doc, one injury I didn't mention earlier, Sean Hill of the Rams supposedly has a quad injury. Now, I see guys playing in the NFL with much more severe injuries than that. Is that mostly a pain issue, a threshold of pain element, or I can't imagine a guy getting his chance to be a starting quarterback in the NFL because of the injury to Bradford, missing the minute because my quad is bruised.
Well, I agree with that, and I think especially after he's been evaluated, he's been scanned, they kind of know what's what, so they know that they can protect it. Are you really going to keep the guy out for that? So, I guess the issue then is it he just doesn't feel like he can go, or is the issue that they just really don't want him to go? I mean, there's some missing points. We're not connecting the dots here, because again, if this were you or me, this is our big shot. We'd be in there if we had no legs.
Right.
I just think that at this point, I don't see how he just doesn't say, look, I'm playing, unless they're holding him out. They may be saying, look, we're not going to take a chance, and really, they want to see, Davis, or want to see what they're going to do. So that there's again some missing pieces of that puzzle.
Well, Doc, is always fantastic stuff. Way to cover these injuries. Really interesting stuff on Robert Griffin's ankle. If that development occurs, and we'll all pray that it won't, because I'd love to see him get his chance to play again as a healthy player, because he is an exciting player.
No doubt. And, we need to watch, like I said, for the ambassador coaches. I think they're holding their breath in Washington, and people in the know are going to be watching this pretty carefully. So we'll see how this goes.
And I hope he doesn't have that, because I can't even pronounce it.
Good point.
Hey, Doc, thanks. Great stuff.
All right, take care.
You bet. We'll talk soon. Dr. Rick, Ask the Doctor, every week, right here exclusively on the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Hey, our good friends at the Marshall Wireless Sprint Stores, listen to this. Attention, attention, attention. This is something you have to hear. You can pre-order your new iPhone at Marshall Wireless Sprint stores and get the exclusive iPhone for Life package. It's $70 a month for life with unlimited everything, and that includes the cost of the phone. There are no tricks. There are no gimmicks. I'm not baiting and switching you. I'm giving you the facts and the truth, as you know I will do. Pre-order your new iPhone at the Marshall Wireless Sprint stores, and you get the exclusive iPhone for Life package. $70 a month forever. Unlimited everything, and it includes the cost of your phone. Now you say, well, Kevin, I don't want to get out of my existing contract right now. They'll pay your cancellation fee up to $350. So they're making it easy for you. No reason not to get out of your previous deal. The cancellation fee will be picked up by Marshall Wireless Sprint, up to $350. Folks, if you have Verizon or AT&T, they eat data like crazy. You best want this iPhone that gives you unlimited everything for $70 a month for life. Only through Marshall Wireless Sprint. Look for the location in your area today and get out there and pre-order that iPhone. All right, we're coming back to the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court here at the Tilted Kilt in St. Charles.
Need team shirts? Need it fast? Need it easy? Need it right? For custom printed t-shirts, hoodies, and gear for teams, churches, and business, visit Dogfish Apparel online. You can even design online. Go to dogfishusa.com. That's dogfishusa.com. Family owned and operated right here in St. Louis for over 20 years. For all your custom apparel needs, remember Dogfish USA. Online at dogfishusa.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Kelvin, the station manager here at 590 Sports Radio. We have been happy charter business customers for some time now. You've probably heard us talk about how much faster the internet is compared to the slow phone company DSL, their advanced business phone, and how reliable charter business services are. But today, I want to talk about charter business customer service. They understand that your internet and phone services are critical to your business and have dedicated representatives in the U.S. that proactively monitor their network 24/7, as well as technicians right here in our town. So if a problem occurs, Charter Business can jump right on the problem fast and get it solved, usually before you even know it. If you're tired of dealing with the phone company, you have a choice that truly cares about your business. Call Charter Business today at 877-BIZ, that's B-I-Z, bundle, 877-BIZ-BUNDLE. Visit businessbundle.com to learn more. That's 877-BIZ-BUNDLE. Call now.
Divorce is a serious thing. To the extent that you can save your marriage, you should. No one knows that better than the attorneys at Cordell & Cordell.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
As many of you know, we represent men in domestic relations cases. And most of our clients are captive to a process they didn't choose. If they could have, they would have saved their marriage. But their wives told them they want out. Suddenly at issue are the assets they've been a lifetime accumulating. What's more important, their role in their children's lives. If you're confronted with a marriage you can't save, we hope that you'll consider Cordell & Cordell.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, which includes protecting men's financial means to do so. Call the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's attorneys, a partner men can count on. 314-725-0000, 725 all zeros. Office is in St. Louis, St. Charles, Jefferson County, Edwardsville, Belleville, and Union by appointment only.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We all know the economy is not what it should be. Jobs are scarce and money is not easy to come by. That is why it is now more important than ever to patronize our locally owned and operated businesses. Hello, I'm Karen Cutis. Keeping St. Louis money in St. Louis is a definite way of helping ensure local employment and making our economy strong. Cutis Funeral Home is such a business. We are locally owned and operated and have proudly served our area since 1910. Cutis Funeral Home employs over 100 St. Louisans, with all funds remaining in our area. Many funeral homes are owned and operated by out-of-town conglomerates, taking money out of our area to support their home offices and salaries. Helping to patronize our area businesses can help keep jobs here in St. Louis. Cutest Funeral Home, part of St. Louis with affordability and dignity since 1910.
Locally owned and operated Cutest Funeral Homes with 3 locations, South City, Afton, and South County.
You've just been arrested for drunk driving. What do you do? A conviction for drunk driving may lead to jail time, a license suspension, heavy fines, and cancellation of your insurance. You have questions, and the lawyers at MLM Law Group have the answers. You need representation by lawyers dedicated to protecting your rights and your driving privileges. Call the lawyers at MLM Law Group at 314-888-5477 today, because there's no such thing as a minor DUI arrest under today's strict laws. Giving in and pleading guilty to a DUI is a decision many people later regret. Don't let a bad decision today affect your family, your career, and your finances tomorrow. Call the MLM Law Group, the official lawyers of 590 and 1380, at 314-888-5477, or visit them on the web at themlmlawgroup.com. If you've been arrested for a DUI, let them put their experience and dedication to work for you. Protect your rights and protect your license. Call the MLM Law Group today at 314-888-5477. That's 314-888-5477. Call today.
Hey, fantasy football fans, football season is heating up. And who doesn't love the excitement of picking your team? It's probably the best part of the season. Well, get this. You can do that any week when you play in one-week fantasy football leagues at FanDuel.com. This is next-level fantasy football. Every week is a whole season at FanDuel. You play for real money, and winners get immediate cash payouts. There's no season-long commitment, so you only play when you want. Plus, you can play in fantasy football leagues for as little as $1. Nothing beats the excitement of living out a whole season of fantasy football in just 1 week. Every week is a chance to win big at FanDuel. And right now, FanDuel is giving you up to $200 free. For every dollar you deposit, FanDuel will match it up to $200. But hurry, offer ends this Friday. The only way to get up to $200 free is to go to FanDuel.com, click the microphone in the upper right corner, and enter the promo code FOOTBALL75. That's FANDUEL.com, promo code FOOTBALL75.
Sit up straight. You're in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court on 590 May.
Yes, sir, this is the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Come on into the Tilted Kilt. That's where we are. The lovely Ula is behind the bar today. So come on in and say hi to Ula, and she'll take care of you at the bar. We're all of the flat screen TVs, 45 flat screen HD TVs here at the Tilted Kilt in St. Charles for your viewing pleasure of all the games that you might want. If it's on TV somewhere, they'll pull it in for you. We're at Highway 94 and Country Club Plaza in St. Charles. Seattle plays at home against Denver this weekend. It's a rematch of the Super Bowl. And the Seahawks are smarting, coming off a loss at San Diego against the Chargers, which isn't all that surprising because, first of all, the Chargers are a good team. They were in the playoffs last year. But as I said after watching the opener, and I said it on this show, when the Seahawks played Green Bay, the Seahawks had a lot of trouble rushing the passer. And if you don't get pressure on these good quarterbacks, that secondary isn't quite the same as San Diego proved. And if you're having a Phillip Rivers against you and you're not pressuring him, he can kill you, and he did. Well, now comes Peyton Manning. And he heads to Seattle, bringing his Broncos into a stadium where Seattle is virtually unbeatable. I think they're 18-3 there over their last, or 18-1, something like that, over their last 19 or 20 games. Now, when I said they don't have the same pass rush that they had last year, it's because of their losses in the offseason, and that's what happens in the NFL. That's why it's so difficult to repeat. Free agency eats into your team. Salary cap issues eat into your team. The Seahawks chose to pay the big dollars to those secondary players in the offseason. Chancellor, Richard Sherman. Not that they're not deserving, they are. But they released their veteran defensive linemen who were responsible for the pass rush on Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. Chris Clemens, Red Bryant. Clinton McDonald then went to the Buccaneers in Tampa by way of free agency. So that's 3 of their defensive linemen that left. 2 of them went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, where Gus Bradley's the head coach, and he was the architect of the defensive line of the Seahawks. Before he went to Jacksonville, he snapped them up in a hurry. None of their pass rushers this year have played more than half the snaps from last season. So you hope that they're hungry, but we will see. They're also undersized. So that secondary isn't going to be with Earl Thomas, Chancellor, Bam Bam, Cam Chancellor, and Richard Sherman, isn't going to be quite as good. We'll see if it improves, but it's going to have to if they're going to have the kind of success against the Broncos Sunday that they had in the Super Bowl a year ago. You've got to get Peyton Manning off his mark, and if the Seahawks can't rush the passer effectively enough, it's not going to happen. Our line's always open, 314-399-8923, 314-399-8923. I began talking about the MVP award a little bit ago in the National League. And here's the quandary if you're an MVP voter. Probably 3 guys that you're going to consider. Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins. He's out for the rest of the year with a facial injury. But he played all 145 games that the team played before the injury. He's played enough games, but he won't be finishing the season, so these voters have short memories. Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers, he's a pitcher, but Justin Verlander won a couple of years ago. You have to have an exceptional year as a pitcher, though. Exceptional. If an everyday player is having a good year, and Stanton is having a good year, as is Andrew McCutchen. In a year where neither one of those guys were at the top, Kershaw could be the winner. I don't think he will this year. And you have to factor in that Kershaw, as dominant as he's been, was on the disabled list for 41 days at the beginning of the season. He missed all of April. So he's a pitcher to begin with. He plays every 5th day, and then he missed 41 days. In the time that he's pitched, he's been dominant, but he may not lead the league in wins. Adam Wainwright might. Both have 19 wins right now. Now, I think Kershaw is clearly the Cy Young winner. It's not even close, and I don't think it will be. But when you talk about these other guys, you're talking about well-deserving MVPs. McCutchen, Stanton, their numbers are phenomenal in both cases. Now, McCutchen modestly says he's not even the MVP of his own team. But Jerry Harrison is. But I'm sorry, Andrew McCutchen was injured, missed 7 games, and the Pirates lost all 7 down the stretch. So that tells you who their MVP is. And in my opinion, he's the league's MVP. His numbers this year are better than last year when he won the MVP award. No one in history has ever spent 41 consecutive days on the disabled list as Kershaw did. Joe Mauer missed the most. He missed 37 days. And remember, those guys weren't pitchers. Kershaw will only make about 27 starts this year. No starting pitchers ever won an MVP award appearing in that few games. So, April does matter, and he missed all of April. So does Stanton fit in? Where does he come in? 37 home runs, 105 RBIs, leads the league in both. 145 games. He played in every single game until the injury. That certainly wasn't his fault, so I don't think you can penalize him for that. Some will penalize him for playing for a losing team. But when he was hurt, he led the league in slugging, on-base percentage plus slugging, home runs, extra base hits, and RBIs. Since 1967, 17 players led their league in those categories. All but 2 of them won the MVP award. And only Willie McCovey lost it to a pitcher. That was Gibson in 1968. And that year was better than Kershaw's by far. So, as Andrew Gladney joins us here at the Tilted Kilt, I think it's a 3-man horse race, Andrew, in the National League. McCutchen, Kershaw, and Stanton.
I heard your breakdown, and I agree completely with your logic. I would go further, and I can see both sides of this. but I really do believe that if they just went ahead and separated out the pitchers from the MVP, I'd be all right with it. I get the fact that a pitcher can win 30 and do something spectacular, but there are two separate awards. I would contain the MVP to everyday players, and I would concur that McCutchen's edge is in his defensive presence in center field. He's a 900-plus OPS guy. Yes, Stanton is a little bit above him, and in general, I value OPS above anything. McCutchen's my MVP. I am, and that's because OPS represents the sum total of all a player's offensive performance. But when you add defense in...
I'm not a sabermetrician, but I understand your point.
Right. Just bases versus outs, which is all we ever, basically... Here's an idea. Take OPS against as a pitcher. Who do you think the top 3 pitchers in the league are in OPS against in order right now?
Oh,
nationally.
Just off the top of my head, I have to say Kershaw, Wainwright, and who else?
The third guy who's having a great year. Cincinnati. Johnny Cueto.
Oh, Johnny Cueto. Yeah.
Right. So it's
because I think of Cincinnati, I think of all the Homer Baileys,
right,
and the Mike Leakes. They're all the same guy, but Johnny Cueto.
Cueto has really risen above that kind of crowd of Reds pitchers, and he's having a sensational year. His numbers are better even than. His numbers are. I think I'm still on. His numbers are better than Kershaw or than Wainwright's, and so it's Kershaw. So I just find that OPS is a cool sort of a. It's like a logic check. When you look at baseball as well as you and I do, and you look at the league and say, who do you think the best hitters are, then you just click the OPS, and it's almost invariably like the top 5 in OPS constitute the top 5. I really do think it's the number one marker.
And usually the guy who leads in home runs and doubles is the leader in OPS. I value home runs, doubles, and batting average, of course. And that guy is usually going to be the highest guy.
Sure, because those are bases, right? But there are the occasional. There's the 250 hitter that hits 30 homers. Doesn't walk a lot, and with only like maybe 25 doubles, and he's not as good as a guy with 45 doubles, 15 homers, and who hits 330. So it really is all just about think of when a guy comes up to bat, what do you want him to do? First and foremost, not make an out. See, I'm a big walks guy, and I know maybe you don't place as much emphasis on it, but a guy who hits 315 and walks 100 times a year has a 4-something on-base percentage and a 4-something or 5-something slugging percentage. That's a terrifically valuable player, and that's Andrew McCutchen.
Yeah, now there are people who are going to make a case for Buster Posey and a couple of other guys, but I don't think they rise to the level of McCutchen and Stanton. Here's something that's interesting when we talk about pitchers, and I don't believe Kershaw should get it, not just because he's a pitcher, but because he missed 41 games.
I'm with you.
And so if you're only going to make 27 starts, you better win them all.
Right.
I'll give you an example. 1995, Randy Johnson, 27-3. 27-3. He didn't win the MVP.
Yeah, that's a year.
Yeah. Ron Guidry, that super year in '78, he didn't win.
25-9.
And 5. Mike Hampton, 29-5 in 1999.
I forgot that year.
Yeah, didn't win.
Hampton won 29 games.
5 losses.
God, that's incredible.
John Smoltz in '98, 22-4, didn't win. 2001, Roger Clemens doing his HGH, 27-5, didn't win.
It's a strong argument for HGH.
Well, you're going to find that Kershaw won't win nearly that many games. He'll only have 2 more starts, maybe.
I would agree with you on two points. One, Kershaw's year compared to other great pitching years is not that stellar. Number 2, if you're going to give it to a pitcher who only plays one of 5 games, and he misses a month, then that isn't even amplified. So I'm with you, 100%.
I think it takes him out of the race. I do.
Yeah, I agree. I would choose McCutchen and/or Stanton, who I agree has a phenomenal OPS, and I just always think that's important.
A guy who I think is full of BS, Kurt Schilling, for the most part. Even he says, "Hey, we have our award. It's the Cy Young." So he doesn't think pitchers should be considered.
Yeah, and I think if you put that into consideration, then you got pitchers separately competing for one great honor, and then players can't compete for that. So I would, I believe the MVP belongs to regular players, and obviously they win for the most part. But I think that the final word on the subject is, as good as Kershaw's been, he missed a big chunk of the season, and he's only tied with Wainwright for wins.
Yeah, so I say he may not lead the league in wins. Wainwright might edge him out. They're each going to get probably 2 starts. There's 11 games left. They'll probably each get 2 starts. Of course, Matheny might pull a little roosh bag and screw Wainwright out of 20 wins by yanking him out of a game at some point early.
That's like a 1950s move. That's what the GMs used to do back then when they had bonuses built in. They'd literally tell the managers, sit the bum.
Sit him. He's not getting 20 wins. Today, bonuses aren't as important.
Well, right, just a brief thing on baseball. I don't know if you ever read David Halberstam's October 1964?
I did read it.
It's such a great book, and for anybody who loves baseball, it's such a cool examination of all the cross-currents we like to talk about. Socio-political change of things, a great background on all those guys, the end of Mantle and that great Yankees era, the ascent of the Cardinals, and those four amazing African-American players the Cardinals had. Bill White, Kurt Flood, Lou Brock, and Bob Gibson, each of which was, an intelligent, strong-willed guy who was a leader. Just a tremendous, cool examination of the character of both of those clubs. And that was when I was a year old. So I remember, but then it was going through game by game, and so many of the managerial decisions, so many things are so similar to today's game that's now begun to decline in offense. You get a lot of 2-1 games. You got a lot of guys that try, maybe they're out early and then you go into a middle relief. It just reads really well. So I recommend it highly for anybody this time of year. 50 years ago this summer or this fall.
Look at the careers of those four guys and look what they've done. Kurt Flood, one of the most important figures in the history of sports.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With challenging the reserve clause. And I'll never forget in reading the book, A Well-Paid Slave, when he asked Marvin Miller, who was the head of the Players Association at the time, will this help the players? And Marvin Miller said, I've got to tell you the honest truth. I don't think it's going to help the modern-day player. And Flood said, will it help players in the future? And he said, yes, it will. Flood said, that's good enough for me. Flood was benefiting zero from risking his career, which ultimately did cost him his career.
It certainly did. Not only that, when the NLPA or whatever, the MLBPA, ultimately later, 2 decades later, approached him with some sort of belated settlement for what he'd done, he just kind of refused. He's a true character guy, and again, it makes sense in the arc of what baseball was, and the book, October 64, refers to this a lot, that it made total sense that it was an African-American player that would have challenged that system, being much more sensitive to being perceived as chattel that the owners could do with whatever they want. Having fought that battle and having been part of that generation of African-Americans who so nobly fought against all the oppression that they faced, it made perfect sense. And in the end, every player today owes Kurt Flood a debt of gratitude.
I always said that every player should pay Kurt Flood $5,000.
I'm with you.
And if every one of them would have simply paid him $5,000, can you imagine? It would have been financially worth what he did. But none of them did. Most of them don't even know who he is. That's the sad part of it.
It is sad.
Today. But here's the interesting part of it, and to me the tragic part of it. In the book, A Well-Paid Slave, and I've interviewed the author several times, it's a wonderful book, Kurt Flood's case in the Supreme Court was decided by not the full bench of 9 judges, but 8, because one withdrew. He owned Anheuser-Busch stock, and the Cardinals, of course, at the time, owned by Anheuser-Busch. So it was an 8-man panel. The judge who was selected to write the majority opinion, in his majority opinion, for whatever reason, put a list of all of the great players that he thought should be involved in the list of great players into the opinion. Now, why, I don't know. But
yeah.
One of the other justices went to him and said, if I'm going to vote against it, I'm going to vote in Flood's favor. But if you'll put so-and-so players in your list in this opinion, I'll switch my vote. That's how Kurt Flood lost.
What a bizarre, that's great. I didn't know that. I'm glad you, I mean, that was, what a presage to the bizarre, complete political polarization that the Supreme Court has become now. I mean,
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's supposed to literally be a lauded body apart from and above all of the political chatter, examining things just on their merits, and it's anything but that.
It's unbelievable. It's one of the tragedies of that entire story. And if you never see the HBO documentary, The Curious Case of Kurt Flood,
seen it. It's great.
Wonderful.
It's great.
All right, Andrew Gladdy's with us at the Tilted Kilt in St. Charles in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Our good friends at Chuck's Boots have the 2 largest boot stores in the world, and they're both in our town. One's in Fenton on Gravois, the other's down the road here, down Highway 70 at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive in St. Peters. Each of the stores has between 40,000 and 50,000 pairs of boots. You may have known that. I'll bet you didn't know that they carry women's fashion jeans, all of the popular brands. Miss Me, Rock Revival, Silver Jean Company, but at Chuck's Boots, they guarantee you the lowest price on women's fashion jeans with thousands of pairs in stock. Now, you're not going to find that at the jean stores or the department stores. You'll be lucky to find your size, but you'll find it at Chuck's Boots. Or they have work boots, western boots, motorcycle boots, uniform boots, hiking boots. all the popular brands, all the popular styles, and they have great accessories. Work jackets, work bibs, work pants, work shirts. In the Western boot category, the exotics like alligator, lizard, ostrich, over 10,000 pairs of